starting in 2024, employers will be able to match employee student loan payments with matching payments to a retirement account, giving workers an extra incentive to save while paying off education loans. I know this is something that some employers offer. They'll help you to pay your student loans, but now they can actually give you a match into your retirement account equal to what your payments are, which could be great.
Are you ready for a successful retirement? We're addressing the topics facing today's retirees. Welcome to Retire with Ryan. Now here's your host, Ryan Morrissey.
Welcome back. This is episode 133. You may have read that Congress recently passed what is known as the Secure Act 2.0 at the end of 2022. And the Secure Act stands for Setting Every Community Up for Retirement Enhancement. And you may be aware that the first version passed in 2019, Secure Act version 1, and it made a number of changes, including moving the age for required minimum distributions from 70 and a half to 72 for people reaching 72 after 2020. It also eliminated a popular estate planning technique known as the stretch IRA, which makes it so that now if a non-spouse inherits an IRA from you, they actually have to start generally taking distributions within 10 years. So in case you missed this, consider going back and listening to episode 3. But in this week's episode, I'm going to cover 9 ways that the Secure Act 2.0 is most greatly going to impact both retirees and pre-retirees. So change number 1 is there's a change, again, to required minimum distributions. And this is the age at which you have to start taking money out of your retirement accounts. And as I said earlier, it originally was 70 and a half. Back in 2020, it increased to 72. And it will further increase to 73 starting January 1 of this year. And then for individuals that are turning 72 in 2023, you will now be able to delay your RMD until the following year. So if you're planning to take a required minimum distribution in 2022, you can delay that 1 year. And then in 2023, the required minimum distribution age is getting pushed out to 75. Starting in 2023, the steep penalty that currently is in place if you don't take your RMD, which right now is a 50% penalty, if you fail to take your RMD on top of the taxes, will actually decrease to 25%. And the penalty will then further be reduced to 10% for an IRA owner that fails to withdraw their RMD, but then corrects it in a timely manner. The penalty will only be 10%. So you'll be able to make a correction without as big of a penalty. Additionally, Roth IRA accounts and employer-sponsored retirement plans will be exempt from required minimum distributions in 2024. That's currently the way it's set up. So that was the advice, to make sure you roll out your 401k. If you had a Roth IRA in there, to make sure you weren't subject to required minimum distribution, but you'll be able to get around that in a couple of years. And beginning immediately, in-plan annuity payments that exceed a participant's RMD, the excess annuity payment can be applied to that year's RMD. So if you're using an annuity for income, you have some more flexibility if you're doing that through your 401k. Next is catch-up provisions. And starting January 1, 2025, individuals 60 to 63 years old will be able to make catch-up contributions up to $10,000 annually to a workplace plan, and that amount will be indexed by inflation. The current catch-up for individuals 50 and older in 2023 is $7,500. And one caveat is that if you earn more than $145,000 in the prior calendar year, all catch-up contributions at age 50 and older will need to be made to a Roth account in after-tax dollars. And individuals earning $145,000 less, adjusted for inflation going forward, will be exempt from the Roth requirement. IRAs currently have a $1,000 catch-up limit for people 50 and older. But starting in 2024, that limit will be indexed for inflation, which means that it could increase every year based on federally determined cost of living increases. So if you remember in the past, this number was $500 and then it held there for a while and then it went up to $1,000. Point number 3 is matching Roth accounts. Employers will be able to provide employees the option of receiving vested matching contributions to Roth accounts, although it may take time for plan providers to actually set this up through payroll. Because currently the way it's set up, anytime if you have a Roth 401k, when you receive a match in your 401k, it actually goes into the pre-tax account. So you're being somewhat disadvantaged, but that problem's going to be solved. And it'll just allow you, if you're trying to bank on the Roth account, trying to build up more money there, you'll actually have the money in the Roth account. So the employers will have to work through how they're going to do that, because obviously this is after-tax money. And, just as a reminder, Roth IRAs, there's generally no RMDs from them, but there currently is RMDs from Roth 401ks, as we mentioned earlier, but that's going away in 2024. Point number 4 is that charitable qualified distributions. This is a way that you can actually donate part of your required minimum distribution to a charity. Let's just say you have to take out $10,000 for a required minimum distribution. If you wanted to donate that whole amount to a charity, that money would not be taxable to you. And currently, this is for people age 70 and older. They may elect to do this up to a one-time gift of $50,000 adjusted annually for inflation to a charitable remainder unit trust, charitable remainder annuity trust, or charitable gift annuity. And this is an expansion of how it's currently set up. So it's giving you more flexibility, whereas now, as I said before, it has to be a required minimum distribution, but this could be even if you're not yet at required minimum distribution age, because you just have to be 70 and a half, you can donate some of that money to your charity of your choosing. And just keep in mind that this needs to come directly from the IRA. It can't go into your bank account and then go into the IRA. This is so the IRS can track it. So you just have to fill out a form with your IRA or 401k provider. Way number 5, this change is impacting you is through something called a qualified longevity annuity. And qualified longevity annuities are deferred income annuities where you put money into them and then you only get paid out if you live to a certain age, generally age 85. So it's kind of you're banking on what happens if you live longer than expected. You segment a part of your money over into one of these annuities. And they're actually getting a boost because they can be purchased with retirement funds, an IRA or 401k. However, there is a dollar limitation for premium increases, and they're now going up from $145,000 to $200,000. And the law also eliminates a previous requirement that premiums were limited to 25% of an individual's retirement account. So if you want to buy one of these, you can put more money into it. You don't have to worry about the provision that it can only be limited to 25% of your retirement account. And so this is starting January 1 of this year. So this is really impacting more people that are working. So number 6 is that automatic enrollment and automatic plan portability. And this legislation requires businesses adopting new 401k and 403b plans to automatically enroll eligible employees, starting on a contribution rate of 3% starting in 2025. And it also permits retirement plan providers to offer plan sponsors automatic portability services, which is allowing an employer to automatically transfer an employee's low balance retirement account to a new plan when they change jobs. And if you remember, I talked about this with ways that you can locate an old 401k plan, because what ends up happening a lot is that someone leaves an old 401k balance. It either sits on that plan for a while and they forget about it, or they send out a check. And in order to eliminate that, what Congress is trying to do is make sure that your money kind of follows you. So this will help. So this will allow some coordination for that money automatically to be sent over. Way number 7 is impacting your emergency savings. And defined contribution retirement plans would be able to add an emergency savings account that is a designated Roth account eligible to accept participant contributions for non-highly compensated employees, which are usually not the key management of a company, starting in 2024. And the contributions would be limited to $2,500 annually or lower set by the employer. And the first 4 withdrawals in a year would be tax and penalty free. And depending on plan rules, contributions may be eligible for an employer match. So it's giving you the ability to set some money aside as an emergency fund that would be able to be invested for you, grow tax-free, and allow you to pay for both short-term and unexpected expenses. Change number 8 is with student debt. And starting in 2024, employers will be able to match employee student loan payments with matching payments to a retirement account, giving workers an extra incentive to save while paying off education loans. I know this is something that some employers offer. They'll help you to pay your student loans, but now they can actually give you a match into your retirement account equal to what your payments are, which could be great. And then the last major change is that with 529 plans, after 15 years, 529 plans can be rolled over to a Roth IRA for the beneficiary, subject to annual Roth contribution limits and an aggregate lifetime limit of $3,500. And rollovers cannot exceed the aggregate before the 5-year period ending on the date of the distribution. So if you're planning to do this, it sounds like whatever the Roth IRA contribution limit, currently it's $6,500, you'll be able to put in, the 5-year aggregate contribution limit. And then this is a way, if you have old 529 money for your children that you're not planning to use, normally you just probably leave it there, or maybe you take it out and pay the tax. This can be a great way towards getting them set up for retirement, because now you're able to put it in their Roth IRA up to a considerable amount. $35,000 would be a really great start on your Roth IRA. And so this would then limit their Roth contribution, because you can't do this, then have them also make the Roth contribution. This would just kind of set them up, get a little head start, but it would limit them for up to 5 years. So it sounds like there's some good things in here. And, it's definitely some improvements upon Secure Act 2.0. This is something that's been talked about for a while, how the required minimum distribution age was going to be raised. So it's already going up to 73. Eventually it'll go up to 75. So that'll give you more time to do some tax planning with maybe taking out distributions before you hit that age, or just allow your money to grow further if you're planning to defer your money and leave it alone. So I hope this helps give you an update on the Secure 2.0 Act. And as always, if you have a listener question you'd like to have considered for a future episode, you can submit your question by going to retirewithryan.com. Have a great week, and I look forward to talking with you next Wednesday.
You should consult a financial advisor familiar with your specific circumstances before you make any financial decisions. Nothing in this broadcast constitutes a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Any mention of rates of return are historical or hypothetical in nature and are not a guarantee of future returns. Ryan Morrissey, CFP, is an investment advisor representative of Morrissey Wealth Management, LLC, a registered investment advisor.